Ultimul vorbitor din acest panel pe care am să-l invit pe scenă chiar acum este Eli Eisenberg, former Senior Deputy Director General for Research and Development, ORT Israel. Welcome, sir.
I don't know. It's good afternoon. I'm in a very, very competitive situation. First of all, competition with the coffee break or lunch break. And secondly, with your concentration. So if you want to stretch a little bit and to move a little bit, please do it, because I'm going to be short as much as possible. The second statement that I would like to make, and I will repeat it at the end of my presentation. There are three main factors which determine the quality of any educational system. And we heard a lot before about quality. And the three factors are teachers, teachers, teachers. So I salute you for being teachers. I'm a teacher by profession. You are doing a very hard and meaningful job. You are educating the generation of the future. You are determining how society will be looked at like in 20 years, 15 years, and so on. Now, I work for ORT Israel. ORT Israel is the largest educational system in Israel. About 10% of the graduates of the Israeli educational system comes from ORT. We are very proud. We are managing and we are running more than 200 schools all over the country. ORT Israel is a non-political institute. It's a non-profit organization. It's an NGO which work for the benefit of our students and the community. In ORT, we have, as I said, schools from one primary schools. Most of them are what we call lower and higher school, the secondary schools, 2 universities, and what is very, very important, research and development and training center. We are very proud to be very unique with this center, because it always looks at the future of our country, the future of our students, the future of our human resource development. Now, when I come, whatever I'm going to talk about, it's being implemented. So the research that we are doing must be very much practical. We are not working as a university, so the research brings pilot, and if the pilot is successful, after 3 years, we have a very, very structural process. The government of Israel, the Ministry of Education, will adopt it to be implemented in all the schools of Israel. So, for example, with STEM education, we started 17 years ago. 17 years ago, we developed a subject. We didn't believe that if you take a student and you teach him science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in different subjects, it will happen. The student won't check his stomach in order to make from it one subject. So we had the responsibility to develop with our teachers, with our developers, a new subject. It's not an enrichment subject. A new subject in the school, which is called the Sciences of Engineering. We developed it, we piloted it, and now it's been an elective, recognized subject for all the schools in Israel. Now, everyone talked about the irrelevance of schools today to the generation of the future. And I would like, by saying what we need to correct, how to do it. Because there is a mismatch today between the graduates of the educational system, even the higher education and also the secondary school, and the need of the labor market and society. Even if the unemployment rate is low, like in Romania, many people are immigrating to have better economical opportunities. And the same in Israel. We have a very low rate, but we want to have a very strong economy, but at the same time, very strong society. So I will concentrate on 3 dimensions. One is the what. Today we teach, as we taught, the same subjects 200 years ago. Mathematics, literature, history, art, science, technology. But we must admit that we must move to new subjects. Career development. Career development today is totally different as it was developed 20 years ago. Careers are being changed all the time. It's not just the professions. It's a flexibility, it's an attitude. We talk about values, attitudes. This should also be instilled in our students. We talk about cyber, big data, artificial intelligence. 5 years ago, nobody knew the word cyber. Today, everyone is talking about cyber, so we must move much faster. Innovation and entrepreneurship. We believe in Israel that it's not just essential skills. We believe that innovation and entrepreneurship are survival skills for all our students, girls and boys, employees and employers, everyone, for the 21st century. And we should study it and we should implement it in our curriculum. And we did develop a curriculum for entrepreneurship with a Nobel Prize winner called Professor Danny Shechtman, a chemistry professor, and with a unit of intelligence of our Israeli Defense Force. And now it's being spread all over the country in many of our schools. Lifelong learning. Lifelong learning don't start at the secondary school or higher education. Lifelong learning starts in early childhood, in the kindergarten. And we have to work there as well in order to have the attitude of learning all the time. The babies, where they are born, they learn by themselves. So why do we stop it? Why do we need to talk about learn how to learn? We just have to encourage it in secondary school, in higher education, and to do it much better. And I also want to mention, focus on hard work. Today, I think all over the world, we suffer from students who are looking at what we call screens of television, screens of laptops, screens of everything. And they believe that everything is very, very quickly and very fast, and the solution and problems are being solved very easily. No. I never found, and I believe you as well, a success person who didn't work hard. And in our network, we find students, we must explain them that in order to succeed, in order to achieve high results, they must work very hard. And this is another kind of value or attitude that we must educate our students with. And now I'm coming to ELSA. I'm very thankful to the Vice Rector and to the Dean of the University and Dr. Madeleine Sherban. Thank you very much for inviting me. We had yesterday a discussion about values and attitudes. And I mentioned ELSA. I want to tell you, I was very fortunate in 1992 to be selected from 9 nominations and President Mandela invited me to establish teacher-trained resources all over South Africa. And we met quite frequently, once in 2 weeks. And he used to tell me, you are the white people are moving very, very fast with your brain, but your heart is being left behind. And I thought a lot about it. And if you think about, today we heard about technology, Internet of Things, robotics, artificial intelligence, we move very, very fast. But the ethics, how to use it properly, what is the meaning of using Internet, what for? Are we doing better? Or we use it for shaming of students, or fake news with all the social websites. We must explain our children, we must educate them with science, technology, and mathematics, and ELSA. How do we do it in ORT Israel? In each matriculation examination, 20% of the mark is being dedicated to ethical dilemmas. And I'll give you one very, very easy example. What happens today with the development of autonomous cars? They stopped the design and the production. You know why? Because they didn't think, or they found out that they must integrate now ethical principles, because they need to tell the programmer of the car what should happen if a dog will cross the street, or a baby. Should the car stop, move forward, right, left? What should happen? So we have to involve people who are coming from different areas, social areas, philosophical areas, not just the engineers, mathematics, English, and so on. So ELSA is very, very important to include it in any curriculum which is implemented. The methodological also was covered here. We have to move from silos, boxes, separated subjects to a much more multi and interdisciplinary subject. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, each of us should focus on one subject where we much develop its expertise and experience, because it also has its own skills to focus, to go deep research in one subject or two. But all at the same time, we must have this broadened, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach, and to study it in this way, and to be evaluated in this way. And I challenge the universities in Israel, and I challenge the universities in Romania to adopt this principle, not just to look at the marks, at the achievements of the graduate or of the students when they finish high school. To ask them, what project did you do? How do you go from principles, mathematical models, from one domain to another one? And this could be changed. Problem-based learning, project-based learning, inquiry-based learning. Everyone is talking about it today. It's a methodology we should be adopted because you start to ask questions. In the normal educational system, I am the teacher, I ask questions, you are the student, and you must give me the answer that I believe is correct. I'm putting it, of course, to extreme, but in project work, where the teacher, the mentor, is working in the same level with the students, we start to ask questions. And you know, Aristotle and Socrates and Plato always believe, or the pedagogy of creating knowledge, of creating know-how, was through asking questions. And if you look at the word education, it comes from the word educo, which means to take out, not to put in, to take out, to create the know-how, the knowledge with the student by asking questions. We also have to change the environment where we teach. We can't just teach in classes, corridors, windows, bars. It reminds me of another institute where people are going to jail. We have to live in an environment which is open, nature. We have to go to open spaces, industries, and so on. We have to bring in the outside world to the class, and we have to take out the school to the outside world. And now I'm coming to a very important thing, I believe. Everyone is putting a lot of pressure on education. And yesterday I was sitting in a nice evening with Dr. Serban and the former Minister of Work. And I want to say that you can't just put all the pressure on education. We must work together in an ecosystem in order to have a better society and a better economy. And in Israel, at ORT Israel, we are now in the 5th year of a pilot of a project called Holistic Education in 7 municipalities, where we cooperate with the Health Institute, with the Social Institute, with everyone in the town, in the municipality, and we map the student and we give them a much better education. Because I don't know if it's in Romania, but in Israel, students are not sleeping enough. And you know that to sleep is very important in order to raise your achievements. We have people who don't eat until 11 o'clock in the morning. They just go out of their home, come to the school, and they didn't drink, didn't eat. How much impact does it have on their achievements? And so, we also measure the work of the community, the voluntary work that the students are doing with the community, and I can tell you, according to research results, it is a great impact on their achievements in mathematics, in English, and STEM education. Now, survival skills were already mentioned. Critical thinking, the most important skill of the 21st century. I don't need to explain why. Problem solving, and I want to explain grit. Grit was developed by an American researcher, Alan Dorquist, and she mentioned 4 skills, 4, I would say, attitudes. 1, perseverance, resilience, passion, and motivation. I want people talk here about motivation. I want to talk about passion. If I see a teacher and his eyes are bright and he looks at me and he tells me about the wonderful thing he would like to do, and I, as a network, make it available for him, support him, the minute I see his sparkling eyes, I see how much he is motivated, how much he has got this passion, I'm sure that all his students will have the same passion. So we should work there. And also for entrepreneurship, I would like to mention something else. We expect our students always to succeed. We as parents always expect our children to succeed. We want them to get the best grade. But we as grown-up people know how many times we must fail. For an entrepreneurship, for an entrepreneur, if he doesn't fail, he will never succeed. And you know how many times he needs to fail in order to succeed? 1, at least 9 times. So we now work with the principals of our network and with the teachers to allow our students to fail. I don't want to say to love to fail, but to allow them to fail. There is no problem. You fail, you rise again, like a baby. You fail, you give him another chance to improve his work. And this is something which I believe made our country a startup nation, because we allow our children to fail, and there is no tragedy. You know, in some countries, in Singapore or other countries, if a student failed, he can commit suicide. We don't believe it's the right work to do. Now, from STEM, we move to ISTEAM. Arts is very, very important. Music, drama, art. We want to see Leonardo da Vinci. This should be the graduate of our educational system. Not just in one subject, as I said, but to have the arts as well as I is not Illinois in our system, it's innovation. And you can say Israel, but I believe in innovation, so the I is for innovation. Now, if you look at your brain, there are 2 parts, the left side and the right side. The left is for logic, mathematics, and so on. The right side of the brain is for artistic, for art, music, drama. And you know, today we talked about happiness. In the middle, if you ask the brain researchers, this is the area of happiness, of joy, of having fun. So why not to combine these 2 parts of the brain in order to have a better, happier society making fun? Innovation, as it was said, is for everyone, as I said, not just for the best students, for everyone, for every girl, for every boy, and we can teach it as a subject and we develop. And as I said at the beginning, McKinsey says it after 250 pages in its report. No educational system is better than the quality of its teacher. But in order to do it, I encourage my ministry, and I would like to encourage the ministry of Romania. Trust the teachers. Trust the principals. Trust your parents. Listen to them. Empower them. But at the same time, look for accountability. Responsibility and accountability with trust. I think this is the secret of making educational system much better. And I would like to finish to tell you I'm coming from Israel, and in Israel we do have two lakes. The Lake of Galilee, which is full of trees, flowers, fish, a live lake, and the Dead Sea. And both of them are being connected with the same river, the Jordan River. So what is the answer? How does it happen that one is live and the other one is dead? Because the Lake of Galilee has an input and an output. The water are dynamic. There are waves. It flows. It shares. And the Dead Sea has got only an input. It doesn't share. So I'm very, very fortunate to be here because I believe that by sharing together, by having piloting project together with you, with the university, with Romanian teachers in Israel, we will grow and be better people and a better society. Thank you very much.